Welcome to our special podcast on this World AIDS Day. I'll be facilitating this wonderful conversation. My name is Relebohile Mabocha, and it is exceptionally important that you join us because we are gathering to delve into insightful conversations with distinguished panelists from the Afrocentric group. Tami, why is faith playing such an important role? Why is it so important in HIV management particularly, and what have you found the outcome has been for those that come to you? Let's say they say, I'm not saved, I don't believe in anything, why would God do this to me? How are you making it easier for those people, and how is it helping them?
I think as a church, it's quite important because churches exist in communities. We are part of the community. And, you know, with this theme of let communities lead, I think it's a call out to us as faith-based organization that we cannot continue ignoring this subject, but we need to address it. So I think we, as a church, we play quite an important or quite a vital role because we have access, we exist within the community. And issues of addressing HIV are very important. Addressing them, have platforms, forums within couples. We can even see, you know, we get members who are coming for counseling. It's because of infidelity now, the other partner is infected, and we cannot continue to ignore that. So it needs to be part of the sermon where we raise awareness, part of our youth programs where we talk to our young people and raise awareness of these conditions. And of course, we do have platforms for counseling where we provide counseling to assist those who are infected and affected, to assist them around you know, their wellness, provide counseling. And I also think that, you know, in terms of prevention, we also play quite an important role, you know, talking to moral issues, because when you look at as well the social state, you know, people, they make it fashionable. You know, it's fashionable, people having blessers because of a lifestyle. They want to have a certain lifestyle. And unfortunately, they're not only blessing them with Peruvian hair, Brazilian hair, but they also bless them with diseases, you know. So hence I'm saying that as a church, we can't continue ignoring this subject. It is quite imperative, it's quite important that we address these issues. We talk to our members, and the good thing is in our organization as well, we have mobile clinics where we provide screenings of HIV, other chronic conditions, and those that we find that they're HIV positive, we also work with community clinics. We refer them there for further assistance, for counseling, treatment, and also those that you know, need to be taken care of. So I think as faith-based organization, it's quite important. Instead of us, we've seen on TV, you know, people misleading communities that, you know, we prayed for. I mean, even in a program, we get members saying that, you know, I'm healed now, I no longer have HIV, I went to a certain prophet, you know, they've prayed for me, and I went to test and my results came back negative, and only to find that the results were actually not negative, but the virus is undetectable because you are adherent to a treatment. Now this person, they leave treatment, they stop taking treatment in the name of them being healed. Unfortunately, some of them, HR will know, they resign, take all their pensions and say, man of God, you have healed me, to come and bless the man of God. And after a few years, unfortunately, the virus surfaces again. They default, you know. So we, as I'm saying that as a church, as a faith-based organization, because these are our people, we cannot continue you know, ignoring these issues. So we need to bring these issues on the pulpit. We need to bring them in our organizations. We need to table them. We need to talk about them.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it is a thin line of people saying how, but the Lord will heal me and all of those things. But we also know God brought, people like professor, medical doctors for a reason, to be helping us manage and find that balance. And we have more people, I would say, we don't have the stats in front of us, but I believe more people go to church than people actually go to vote. So your voice starts to become a lot louder and more powerful than our own leaders that are the ones that are supposed to be putting certain programs into place and passing on certain key messaging. I think I just want to quickly come back to you, Tebogo. How are you finding, and I'll ask the question around the table, what are the important partnerships that need to be happening? I'm thinking about faith-based organizations. I'm thinking about the work that you are doing with your staff. How are you collaborating in ways that now amplify the work that you're trying to do? Because that employee that's with you Monday to Friday that you're taking care of, Sunday they're there, kontate muruti, and you want the message to continue the whole weekend, So what are those important collaborations? And maybe you can also share for other employers what they need to consider doing. You might not get everything under one roof.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. What is quite important is that the employee or the workplace, it's actually the mirror of what happens in the community. That most of our people that go to church, as you rightfully say, also come back to the office and they spread the message. So the importance of us partnering with the organizations in communities that we're operating in, it's most important for us. The message, and not just in terms of financial support, but also in terms of moral support in helping them to do the right thing and spread the right message. So it's non-negotiable. Wherever the employee is at or wherever the employee is residing in, it's the community that we need to foster relationships with. One of the key things that Maria has said around mental health cannot not be underestimated. Our employees, much as they go to church, yes, we pray very hard for clarity, for direction, or for calmness. But it's also important for us to also understand that there are other things, that dynamics that impact our employees. I'm a 71-based women organization in terms of statistics. And I don't have to explain to this panel what a woman has to carry. It was not long ago when my CEO was leading the panel on Movember, dealing with many issues. And it's very clear that the mental health space, it's something that cannot be ignored. In addition to that, you add the HIV and AIDS. To fight this or to be able to make an impact that resonates with the employees, you have to partner with organizations that employees reside in. It's not for us to choose which ones, but it's for us to be able to work with each and every organization that could be able to reach our employees and the families and the communities at the same time, spreading the message, but also giving care to those employees in the communities through the partnerships that we have. So to be able to deal with this HIV thing, it's a partnership. It's the communities, it's the employer, and it's the organizations that Ndati Muruti, for example, is representing.
Professor, on your side, what do you think people need to know that we don't know? I mean, I think people will always come to you for numbers because research is what you do. But what would you like to share that maybe you don't often get asked in the context of this conversation?
I think the real message is that there are many chronic illnesses that require regular medication. HIV is just one amongst many. And if you get tested, know your status, if you seek treatment, if you understand your treatment and the importance of taking it regularly, get monitored regularly, you can live a full, healthy life. I think that to me is the most important message, is understand about the disease. It's very common in South Africa, where more than 8 million people have HIV. So we are the country that punches above our weight in research. You go to conferences and there's South Africans everywhere. We have activists who are incredibly active in the community. There's a lot of support available in this country. And we're kind of leading the world, I think, in how we've responded to HIV. So there's a lot available. Don't go and hide in a corner and think this is a terrible thing and you're going to die.
Ntate MD, not medical doctor, managing director. What are your final thoughts that you would like to share, especially with the information that you have working within Pharmacy Direct?
For me, what is important is that communities out there should be able to tap on the strengths that PD has, especially the issue of accessibility, because like I said, there's nowhere where we can reach. And once we can be able to bring awareness to these communities. And how do you bring awareness? Obviously, we've got certain pickup centers, we've got facilities. I mean, just 2 weeks back, we were even talking to one of our clients to say that we can actually use their facilities to assist their own employees in terms of being able to access medication. So it's very important for us. We've got also even a doctor's portal where it's very, very critical for us to have a partnership with a doctor where medication can even be delivered in a doctor's room, because sometimes patients, they've got a very personal relationship with their doctors and they become comfortable. We've got even packaging which is very discreet, you know, just to be able to secure the issue of confidentiality. There is no problem. We are covered when you are using our program and when you are using our processes as Pharmacy Direct.
Maria, let communities lead. I mean, you've been leading in your space for quite a while. How do we encourage those in leadership positions, those that are within programs? How do we encourage for communities to do the leading? How do we let communities lead?
I think, Relebogele, before I answer that, I just want to perhaps maybe explain to you who are my communities, right? I have got communities that are AFA aligned, and I've got communities that are MedScheme HIV aligned, right? So I will start with the MedScheme HIV aligned clients, of which I am managing about 155,000 of them. Those are our GEMS members. They are everywhere. And my message to them is that HIV is a journey. HIV is about a process of quality of life. And for you to be able to attain that quality of life, as Gary has said, you have got only 3 steps that you need to do. Know your status. And when you know your status, take your medication. And when you take your medication, you will be virally suppressed. And when you're virally suppressed, it will get to a state where it is undetectable. And when it's undetectable, it's untransmittable. There is no room for ignorance. So my perhaps message is that each one of us must know their status. And the rationale for knowing your status is that you need to treat it as early as possible, because then your quality of life is improved. So that's on the MedScheme HIV community. Back to the AFA community, of which I manage about 13 schemes and corporates. I'll just highlight a few, okay? Firstly, to my Bonitas community, we've been through this path for a long period of time. And our commitment as AFA is that we are going to continue working this path. It is critical that we advance. It is critical that we are innovative, especially in how we communicate to our communities. And my commitment is that as technologies come on the platform, we will make sure that we fight the stigma and we embrace the journey of HIV. That's for Bonitas. And I also, by the way, have PolMed, And these are the people that have to protect us, right? So I do understand that each and every POLMED community members who is on my program need to be healthy. And for them to be able to be healthy, they need to take their medication. And in turn, when they are healthy, they will be able to protect us out there. So it is critical to understand that all this thing forms part of the bigger ecosystem where health is concerned. I also have Fed Health that I look after their members, and they are diverse, they are different, but the message is clear. Adhere to your medication. Make sure that when you are in difficulties, we as AFA, we are there to lend a helping hand. I have got counselors who are ready to listen to you and to support you. I am not going to mention all of them, but I also have SamuMed and the other medical schemes that I manage within my communities. To my corporate clients, the DBS of this world that we consistently partner with in terms of making sure that we fight this disease. Let's continue on the collaborations. Let's continue on making sure that we take our work back to the communities where we come from. So back to your question, how do, as leaders, make sure that we spearhead this? I think at some point we have to lead with a certain level of vulnerability. None of us know for sure that you will not ever be HIV positive. But with that vulnerability and understanding that you have to speak your action, when it happens, do not look down on yourself. Empower yourself with every knowledge that is out there in terms of managing this disease. The UN goals are very clear. They say that we need to eradicate AIDS defining condition by 2030. And I think for me, every leader of the organization, community, anywhere, let's all hold hand and make sure that the 2030 goals becomes a reality and a success. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Maria. I'm going to give the final thoughts to Mr. CEO, just on behalf of Afrocentric, but also, you know, what is the homework you want us to leave with, all of us, those that are watching, whether they're employees or they are clients, they are just individuals in society. What is the homework we need to walk away with? Because this was just the start of a conversation for World AIDS Day, but we need to walk away with very clear directives of what we need to do.
Yeah. Thank you, Relebogile. And indeed, it's been a much needed conversation as we celebrate and commemorate, you know, World AIDS Day and the work that the Afrocentric group has done to contribute meaningfully to society, being able to eradicate, you know, the stigma as a first, priority, but then also to manage prevention. Because unfortunately, in managing HIV and AIDS, prevention still is better than the cure, as you've seen through the panel discussion. And I think that's important, maybe from our perspective, to just be clear about what we've anchored, you know, our effort around the HIV/AIDS discourse around, in particular, you know, the principles thereof that we aspire towards, and how I think that will be relevant for all, you know, our peers and other like-minded corporates to follow suit on. Like I said, prevention remains better than cure. You know, and our effort that we've done in that space through our partnerships with civil society and other like-minded organizations in driving testing, driving awareness, driving knowledge, driving the education, I think we can't let up now. You know, 35 years on from celebrating World AIDS Day, 25 years on from AFI being been, front and center in driving this, we need to continuously invest and make an effort around that. For me, the second thing is how do we reduce and ultimately eliminate the stigma around HIV and AIDS. I think, the panelists have clearly articulated that this is yet another disease. By prescribing yourself to the available treatments, once you are living with HIV and AIDS, you can do so living a high quality life and a fulfilling life. And it's important that as a society that we manage to reduce discrimination around the disease itself. The third thing for me that is very close to the Afrocentric family is then that of access. As you've seen through the work that we do in a collaborative and integrated effort across the group, is to ensure that we manage the disease, that we coordinate the care, and that we in a very wholesome way look after the individual living with HIV and AIDS. And that for us is something that we'll continue to do and drive hard. And then, as difficult as it is, as the professor has articulated, but we still remain committed through the work that we're doing with the international epidemiology databases on the evaluation of AIDS, to share data in an anonymized way to help the research effort to find a cure for AIDS. We will not let up until, we have either a vaccine or a cure for this particular disease. And so that for us is also a great ambition that underpins, our effort in fighting HIV and AIDS. And then lastly, partnerships. If you look at our CSI initiatives and the work that we've been doing around that, through other like-minded organizations like the South African Business Coalition on Health and on AIDS, the South African National AIDS Council, we have found like-minded partners that are able to help us make a meaningful impact in the societies that we choose to serve. On average, year on year, for the last 5 years, we've been able to provide wellness, counseling, testing capabilities to communities where over 16,000 people per annum are able to benefit from being empowered, knowing their statuses, and being able to be directed to the appropriate treatment programs to help manage what they now are empowered with. And then, as Maria indicated, our partnership with De Beers, where in this year alone we've been able to get to 25,000 people in the Limpopo and surrounding communities, and that makes a meaningful difference. And over the last 5 years, Relebogile, we've committed close to 10 million rand to efforts around just HIV and AIDS management, and we'll continue to do that. So my encouragement from that perspective to our peers and other like-minded corporates is to let communities lead by partnering with them, supporting them. They are severely underfunded, but as we've seen through the discussion here today, they are the key to making a meaningful impact and a difference in the fight against HIV and AIDS. So from that perspective, we'll continue doing the work from our side. We'll continue to collaborate through the partnership efforts, and we'll continue to use the collective strength of the Afrocentric group businesses to provide coordinated care and really drive the ambition to make sure those that are living with HIV and AIDS can live a healthy, fulfilling life, and that we do the work in those in the high-risk areas, the young adolescent youth, and as the Moruti has also indicated, working with faith-based organizations to make sure that we actually have those uncomfortable conversations now, and that we direct our efforts to make sure that we are able to make a meaningful difference to society. So really thank you from everybody at Afrocentric for the engagement and for our communities. We committed to stand behind you, to support you, to fund you, and to make sure that you are adequately resourced to lead the next wave as we commemorate World AIDS Day in 2023.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of you for such amazing contributions, for the work that you're doing. but also being able to lay it bare on the table. I think while we can, look back and say, oh, celebrating 20 years or celebrating 35 years, the real work is still up ahead, all of us as South Africans for this country. There you have it. This World AIDS Day, the theme is Let Communities Lead, and we've had a very impactful and insightful conversation with Afrocentric Group and its subsidiaries, especially AFA, which is celebrating 25 years in HIV managed care excellence. Pharmacy Direct, that ensures critical HIV medication reaches South Africans, as was already shared and spoken about, under both private and public healthcare systems, every time, on time. And of course, we've heard about the advancement in HIV from the professor, and we've heard about the importance of taking care of communities that are your employees and those that are under the faith-based spectrum as well. So AFA is definitely doing some remarkable work in HIV management. And if we are truly to reach the 95 goals, more organizations must consider AFA enrolling affected employees on an AFA program to ensure that they are testing regularly, protecting themselves and others, and adhering to their treatment, as has been reiterated in this conversation, so that they are productive and healthy members of society. So if you want to know what to do, visit afa.co.za, afa.co.za. It is that simple to get your organization's employees on an HIV management program today, afa.co.za. Thank you so much to all of the panel that was part of this conversation, but also thank you so much to all of you for watching. The real work starts now.